We made it. We made it. We made it. Happy Monday, everybody. It is time to get to work again. I guess trying to mess with this microphone here. Hope everybody had a good Monday. Look at this. Jacob is in the house. Victor's. Yeah, I don't know. I saw Hoodie was down just for a little bit. Let's go. Good morning, Troy. Bull Tesla. I don't know. Tesla's not making it easy, man. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it was Tessie, man. I got some flack, a little bit of flack for microphone is on this keyboard. I got a little bit of flack for the Tesla trade, but I don't know. It's TBD. It is definitely TBD. Good morning. Ready to roll. We'll see. Look, it's got to get over 335 on Tessie, Mohammed. Hope everybody had a good weekend, for sure. Hope everybody had a good weekend. All right, so if you're new to the stream, here's what we do every Monday. First of all, I don't really trade a whole lot on Mondays. Monday morning, it's like a lot of carryover from Friday. There's some, especially in a bull market, sometimes we have some profit taking go on Fridays, and it kind of carries over to Monday. To this morning, it was kind of red, and then that kind of hashes out, and after the lunch hour, we start to see kind of what's real. So we let all the dust settle. Happy Monday. Did it just make 335 again? Look at that. And Tessie, I don't even have this on the news. Maybe Evan's going to join us here in a little bit. But I did see, God, I hope I get my chair back soon. Oh, look at that. Ooh, that's a little low. That is probably a little low. I did see Tessie's going ahead and launching a new model, or at least releasing the notes on a new model. I did see Tessie release some news on the new model, but we'll see. This week though, it's a big week. It's a big week. Evan said he's going to show up. We'll see. We'll give him a little bit. If you didn't see the thumbnail, and I'll just go ahead and start the screen share here, it's Jackson Hole week. And we do not have an FOMC meeting this week, but we do have Jackson Hole. It's called Jackson Hole Symposium if you're new to the markets. And it's literally this. And this is sometimes what kicks it off, not all the time. And when we talk about that September weakness, September is universally kind of, weak. It's not all of September. It's really not all of September, and it doesn't even have to be in September, believe it or not. It's super weird the way it works. Sometimes it's like the last day of September. We call it like the high holiday effects. There's that the term is sell Rosh Hashanah by Yom Kippur. So it's like the very end, and it might only be a few days, if at all. But we'll see. Its seasonality in general this year has been slightly off. So if it shows up, it shows up. And then sometimes we have like the Santa Claus rally in terms of seasonality, which usually bases out at the very end of October, right before Halloween. You guys throwing out some tickers already. But at the end of the day, we have to watch price action. Price action is going to tell us for sure. I think August is always a coin flip period. End of story. So we're still in the middle of August. It can be a coin flip, but the real choppiness literally starts out right now, and it starts out with this conference. And this conference begins on Wednesday, and it goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you're new to this is the moment that you kind of want to be like a little cautious. Oh, look at that! It looks like our buddies here in town. Is that Evan?
What is up, YouTube? How are we doing?
What's up, buddy? Can you guys hear him? Give me a Y in the chat if you can hear him. I believe he came.
I am on my my AirPods and not my nice mic, so
No, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear personally, so I think they'll be good. But yeah, Jackson Hole week this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Sometimes the beginning of the choppiness right here. So it's kind of out. Where's Jackson Hole? It's like national park, right?
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Jackson Hole is like a town. It's a really nice. I could be wrong on Wyoming. Maybe it's like South Dakota or North Dakota. I don't know, but nice.
Well, it's in the plains, so I got a picture of Jay Powell in the plains.
They love to go skiing there.
Okay, well,
so it is Wyoming. I should have trusted my gut.
Yeah, well, you had it on. So we're gonna actually get a lot of Fed speak this week, and again, it begins on Wednesday. We're gonna get FOMC minutes this week, and I'm skipping ahead, but just so you guys know, when we get the Fed speakers this week, it's going to be a lot more important than they normally are. So this is a week that you do want to pay attention a little bit more than normal. Other than that, every Monday we will go ahead and we actually review a little bit of the economic data points. So this is what I put on deck. Evan, feel free to jump in. If you don't follow Stock Market News on X, I don't even know what you're doing. Let me go ahead and grab this guy's YouTube, but he's an absolute must follow. If you want to get the news quick and efficient, there it is. Absolute must follow. That's Evan. But here's what I got. Really quick. This was Friday. I think they were like a solid 3 or 4 hours late, but if you wanted to wait and watch the stream, or if you were hanging out with our buddy Amit on stream with not Asian Steve, that's me, I guess, but the real Steve, he was on. They were hanging out waiting for him to come on live. But to me, my takeaway: cautious optimism. I don't know, the power flex of the B-2 stealth bombers flying overhead. That was kind of fun. Anyways, I mean, they looked pretty amicable, but no immediate deal. And this morning, for sure, we definitely saw a lot of, I would say, volatility and some oil and defense stocks. And honestly, I think that's to be expected. So to me, I don't know if there was a lot of like potential headlines built into the prices of these stocks, but like I had some Boeing, which was getting absolutely shellacked this morning. I don't know if it probably comes back, but it might need to base out a little bit. But I think maybe some fears were possibly baked into that. Was there any other headlines in any of these stocks, Evan, this morning?
The oil and defense ones?
Yeah. I mean, I
didn't
noticed
see too much.
Yeah. But this
is what it's around.
Yeah.
I've switched paper on this Russia-Ukraine stuff. I switched 2 or 3 times over the weekend if I'm optimistic or about pessimistic about it actually kind of coming to an end. Can't lie. At this point, I'm more on the pessimistic end, but we'll see.
Yeah. So they're meeting. I think they're meeting right now, actually. Pretty sure they're meeting
Trump had a calendar out. It says noon that European leaders arrive at the White House, 1 p.m. Eastern. They greet the president of Ukraine. So, yeah, that's going on today. There should be a couple pressers though.
Yeah. So it's still kind of up in the air. So we'll see how this develops, but that is a live active story. So if you want to pay attention to those kind of things, I think it will continue to move some of these stocks, probably like a Boeing or any other oil or defense stocks. In terms of economic data points, look, CPI, inflation came in as expected. So meaning like it was pretty much in line, no move to the market. Biggest flyer, if you will, like left field number, PPI by far. This was, did you happen to catch like the deviation, like how far off this was like compared to normal?
Like how far the expectations were off?
Yeah,
that doesn't happen often. I didn't see the stat though. Is there some stat there?
I'm sure there is. PPI, a big part of increase was essentially services changing More premium than it was pressure. Yeah. So, I mean, services, PPI, you're going to have to dig into this numbers. But hey, look, the other thing is I saw our buddy Jag post. Don't worry, we're getting a new head of the BLS. So maybe these numbers will be revised back. But PPI came in like massively different than what was expected. So this is an instance of like why it doesn't really matter like if something's far off of what was prior, but it's versus expectations. And so in parentheses, when I post these numbers, it's the numbers that are in parentheses, that's what was consensus and or forecast. That means what is priced into the market today. And so today, or at that point in time before the release, that's what was priced into the market. What came in, or the actual PPI month over month, 0.09. And that is a massive difference. Yes, prior was 0.0%, but having the consensus at 0.2, coming in at 0.9, just, I mean, an absolute massive difference. Year over year comes in at 3.3 versus a 2.5 expectation. Core PPI 0.01% expectation.
Intel headline right now. I'm in the trade here. Trump administration said to discuss taking 10% stake in Intel. I don't know if we had a number before.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have that on the headline. So, oh my God, what's the CEO's name?
Lip Bhutan, I believe.
Yeah, Lip Bhutan. So Trump flip-flops on Intel CEO, going from he needs to step down immediately. Then he goes to the White House. Like,
I've been calling it to bend the knee.
Gets in front of the president, and then leaves the White House. And all of a sudden, we're talking about taking a stake in Intel as a government. I don't know that that's really a good thing. If I think back in history of like when the US has actually taken a position in a company, has that been a good thing? I don't think historically that has been a good thing. I can mostly think of like the bailouts. If we think about like Carnival Cruise Lines and things like that, if you took a bailout, it took a long time to kind of come back to life. So I don't know. Core PPI, again, if you didn't know, there's a super core for PPI, which again, so all these PPI, core PPI, super core PPI, all of it completely different. The only thing that didn't get massively hit was the super core year over year. Retail sales mostly in line. And then after that, consumer sentiment, which is Friday, comes in and fades again as inflation fears return. So all that said, look, inflation, PPI is like a leading, that's producer price index. So the question is, okay, if this is real, that means that like, okay, if let's say producers as in Coke and Pepsi, et cetera, are actually are incurring an increased cost of goods, are they going to then pass that cost down to the consumer, either in the form of increased prices overall, or in the form of the term shrinkflation? I don't know if you guys remember that, but shrinkflation. Either one of these could be the case, but that's then the question: do the producers pass this form of inflation, if this is real? Which, number one, this is 1 month. Does this sustain? I don't know, but that's going to be the question. So 1 month doesn't really make a trend. On a good note, the Fed does not make any decisions on PPI. Like the Fed's doesn't watch PPI. This is a market indicator. The market watches PPI. The Fed really doesn't. Fed cares about like the labor statistics. Unfortunately, the labor market has been absolutely crap, especially after all these updates and revisions. So we're kind of still where we are. They also watch PCE, which is the actual spending. But consumer sentiment fades as inflation fears return. If spending does go down, maybe that's a little bit better case. But all that said, look, we get all this stuff that comes out really this week during the Jackson Hole Symposium where they start talking about, hey, look, this is what we're thinking about doing moving forward in terms of policy. We're going to get some more stuff, but in terms of the rest of the things that happened last week, look, another headline. So semiconductor tariffs, do you remember this? Could reach as high as 300%. AMD, we had a good trade on AMD that was actually a pretty big immediate move. I think it was that first move on AMD to the upside was a little bit overdone. Do you remember what that was? It was like maybe NVIDIA was going to be delayed. And I think that was a little bit overheated.
How long ago, I think?
Last week.
Yeah, it was the next generation NVIDIA chips they wanted to. So what it was the story was that AMD's new lineups are so good that NVIDIA has had to retool their lineups.
Right.
And that is, and then say they were at a point that was beyond it with Taiwan Semi, so they have to go back, change stuff, and go forward.
Yeah, and then AMD went to like 185 or something overnight, and I was like, whoa, it's a little bit hot. I was in some fairly short dated. I say fairly short dated. Short dated for me, very short dated, but for others, maybe not so short. Anyways, to me, it's very short dated. I think volatility was a little bit too hot, and I think I had probably gotten as much as I was going to get, even if I got to my price target. I don't think it was going to be that much more. So I ended up taking them down anyways, most of it, and then it started to fade out or level out the next day. So I took those down, but I think it was just a little bit overheated. So we have to put that trade for AMD on pause. And then with this headline coming out anyways, it kind of put the whole semi sector on pause overall. And then we get hit, by the way, with AMAT, which I think AMAT, which is the first tooling semi, their actual manufacturer, just pulling a typical AMAT, dumping off after earnings. We have a manufacturing facility here. If you guys don't know, we have like 4 or 5 companies, but like one of my partners here, we do have a manufacturing facility. Anyways, nobody wants to work with AMAT over here for whatever reason. Just letting you know. I don't know that they're like, I think they might be like a one-off. So I don't know. I think AMAT's taking down a lot of the sector, but maybe unjustifiably. This might just maybe a hot take. I don't know. Lamb, not so much. The one, in terms of locally, at least for the manufacturing facilities or machine shops and stuff around the Bay, everybody, KLA is the one that is like the golden goose. KLA is the one that everybody wants to work for, which for whatever reason, the stock market, nobody really knows about KLA. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's always like Lamb Research or AMAT. I think they're the 2 biggest ones, but KLA 10 core, KLAC, I think is the ticker. Probably the better operator would be my guess. Anyways, I think maybe just overall takes the whole sector down, almost like a Fortinet for Palo Alto and the rest. And then now we'll have to see, okay, so now today Palo Alto is going to report, I think tonight or tomorrow morning, one of the two.
I believe tonight.
I think tonight. And so Fortinet has taken down a lot of the security names for like a whole week. And so my point is that AMAT may do the same thing to like a Marvell, to like Lam Research, or even to like an AMD. And now we have these 300% possible tariffs. It could be until NVIDIA earnings, which is like another 2 weeks before the semis are ready to roll again. It's very possible. So now we have Jackson Hole Symposium, we have possible semiconductors, and we have a lot of chop until 2 weeks from now where we have NVIDIA earnings, which is probably what will have to save the market if we're going to have NVIDIA save the market, which leads us to 13F season and possibly the sentiment shift in the market, which Buffett showing up buying 5 million shares and UNH popping instantly 10% overnight, possibly upsetting a lot of people, not being able to get in. Although there was a technical reversal earlier than the Buffett buy, which maybe that was his buy. Who knows? I don't know. I guess we could chart UNH, possibly one. Maybe if you guys haven't, I don't even think they've dropped that ticker yet, but maybe one to actually watch. But I do think from a sentiment perspective, it could have changed the market's tone on the healthcare sector overall. And I think that could be an important shift as we do move into possibly a slower season. Speaking of a different type of seasonal shift, I believe school starts in this next week or two. Anybody have kids in the chat? My son is.
There are one or two areas that maybe start in August, but I think that's like an early September thing. Back to school shopping is probably going on now, though.
So back to school shopping, all these seasonal shifts are happening.
Florida kids also started early. I remember back in the day. Maybe there's just an East Coast thing now.
I think it's like August, late August, man. September in New York.
That is where my bias would be from.
MK is dropping CRM. Yeah, I will say, okay, CRM is getting a little hot. Not gonna lie. But oh, there you go. Look at that. Already open in Texas.
Texas losers.
Losers. Overachievers, maybe. South is back in school. So I think the summertime is coming to an end is my point. And I think volume will start to maybe pick up as this shift begins on Mondays and Fridays. So the summer doldrums may end and back to school season begins. Yeah, I was seeing a lot of schools opening this week too. Starting this week and next. Yep. See, maybe New York is underachievers and everybody else is kind of on par. Clearly, Texas is overachievers now. Oh, man. And then Hawaii school started last week. All right. So this is it. So it is the shift, right? So we will see the volume start showing up again Mondays and Fridays a lot more. And so the summer doldrums, if you will start to fade. And CELH, yes, I have some January calls. I trimmed again today. My God, this thing is it's just nonstop. It has been absolutely nonstop. All right. So I think that's important. I didn't see anybody post about this, Evan, but let me ask you this. Did you notice an interesting equity might have been missing from a lot of 13Fs?
Tesla, Google. There's a couple of them. No Tesla.
I didn't notice the no Tesla.
What are you saying, Apple?
No, I saw a lot of Apple.
I saw a good little bit of Apple.
So Microsoft, I saw you put out a post of the top holdings. I was actually shocked at the amount of Microsoft. There was a lot of Microsoft.
Let me get that post pulled up.
You want to share it?
Yeah, we can.
Drop it in the stream and or actually, I don't know if you can. But if you share your screen, then I can
put screen actually pretty easily. Let's do this. Share screen, window. Oh, too far. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So summary of what they've been buying. This is what they've been buying this past quarter, and this was 2 quarters ago. So this quarter was UNH, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, adding to NVIDIA. But obviously, by percentage, they already had a lot of ownership. So those are the ones. This is most held stocks by the super investors. So this isn't. Yeah. Well, this is both. So I think this might have been what you were mentioning specifically.
Yeah. So a lot of Microsoft. I don't know why they put Google and GOG twice. Like if you combine those two, would Google actually be at the top? Maybe. But
and this is just number, and this is like percentage in it. So like. This might actually be like 2 or 1.
Yeah.
It's not a wrong statement.
So Carvana shocked me. Completely shocking.
What it is so this maybe isn't the best thing. I don't think it's like, I think Warren Buffett's like owning a stock at 1% is the same like weighting in here at someone owning like 70% of just Carvana is what I think it is. There were one or two portfolios.
So UNH is brand new. So UNH, it was not just a Buffett thing. It was like, honestly, it was like across the board. It was a little bit of everybody grabbed this UNH.
This thread has just a lot of random ones.
Yeah. But the biggest thing for me that was missing, NVIDIA. Did you notice that?
I did notice that actually. You want to know why? I started a separate account and it's like a Jensen Huang tracker. So I wanted to make a good post about it. So I was looking and I was like, all right, there's not many people here with NVIDIA as their largest holding. Yeah, that's fair.
Or even like in general.
Yeah.
I was a little shocked. Not gonna lie. I thought it would be a lot more. I really did.
You know what? I was looking back paper. I was doing a post on Vanguard, and like they have 67 ETFs that have been around for more than 10 years. So I was able to look at them ranked by 10 years. You know what's one thing that you want to see what all the ETFs that outperform the S&P 500 in that time frame?
What's that?
And there's a commonality here that it's tech, and not only is it tech, it's large cap tech, and NVIDIA is the largest holdings in these. So if we're talking about the ETFs that are working and winning, NVIDIA is pretty much the largest holding in a lot of them. VGT, MGK, VONG, but basically on top, then it's and it's growth and mega cap is basically what it is.
All right, that works. So I think. So by the way, so if you're new to trading in general, 13F season, it's a thing. Buffett specifically, whenever he does this stuff, it moves markets. It absolutely moves the sentiment of markets in general. The last year, his buy was Lulu, and people were like, "Oh, Buffett holds for the long term." Mm-hmm. He sold Lulu like the very next release. I don't think UNH is going to be like that. There have been times when like all of a sudden 13F season shows up Occidental Petroleum, right? Hasn't done that well, and he's consistently increased his position. So my point is that make note of what these guys are doing, but make your own decision as your own investment or as your own trader. You don't need to rush out and buy these things. Go ahead and make it your own trade. Like if you like what they like, make your own decision for yourself. People's time horizons are completely different. All this stuff is like way in the past. So buying it now, you're not anywhere close to what their purchase price was, just so you know. You're leaps and bounds behind. You might end up being their sell liquidity. So you don't want to chase this stuff. A lot of times it does fade, but just know, hey, look, this is just an update to an existing portfolio of something that they did months ago. So just no need to chase anything. It's just an update of what they have to put these updates out. Just a quick review on earnings so far. We got one more Dow 30 component. That was Cisco that did report actually beating expectations. So far we have 21 beats, 3 misses. Not a bad earnings season net so far. We have a couple more this week, nothing major. But overall, I think pretty decent. I'll just do a quick high level hit list of what we have for the week, and then we'll hop over to Evan's post. But so today, really nothing. Tomorrow, a whole lot of nothing. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Jackson Hole begins. We get FOMC minutes on Wednesday. I think this is going to be an important FOMC minutes. It's going to be an important Jackson Hole event. If you don't remember, how many dissents did we have last FOMC? 2 or 3? 3? 3 dissents, I think it was. 2? 2, my bad. 2 dissents? Was it 2? Damn it.
2.
Okay. 2 dissents.
Close.
First time in, I just remember it was like the first time in an obscene amount of years. And so when we get the FOMC minutes release, we'll get to see what all that chatter was about. And then they're going to talk about it. All the Fed speeches will come starting Wednesday. Who were the dissenters? Do you remember?
Ooh.
Was it Bowman?
Let's look. Yeah.
So when Bowman speaks, which I believe is Wednesday, when the dissenters speak, the market will listen.
Bowman and Waller.
Bowman and Waller?
Wait, I might have just said the wrong thing.
Man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find it on my.
I think you're right. But see, I'm just gonna go with your gut, dude. You were right on Wyoming. I think you're gonna be right on Bowman and Waller.
I've been there. Jackson Hole, wonderful place. At the rates, 50 points.
Okay.
Look at the mountains. Beautiful.
But when the dissenters speak, the markets will listen for sure. And then, and Jay Powell does his speech on Friday. So all week long, we're going to have a lot of coverage. But like I said, this week is definitely going to be different. Powell going to say data. Possibly. But what I will say is the market's going to listen. And net, the market always listens to this one. And a lot of times this becomes kind of like that pivot point in the market. So it is important. Let's go ahead and grab your pinned note for sure. And I'm just.
She did good this week.
What's that? This is the right one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. It's like the same graphic, dude. Great minds.
What a beautiful photo, right?
Great minds. Great place. Look at that. It's very close. Very close. Anyways, here we go. Right. So where do you want me to start? Do you want me to hit the Seeking Alpha?
Yeah, no, this time we can run through the Seeking Alpha. Not that much on the earnings.
Someone asked me in my group about Open Door the other day.
The retail shareholders ran the CEO out of the door, and there's a new one coming in, and they're excited
retail
about it.
shareholders. So first, can we talk about the CEO, Sarah Fryer? That's who you're talking about?
Well, she was the one who got ran out, Open Door?
So Sarah Fryer, the greatest CFO in Silicon Valley. That's what I'll say about Sarah Fryer. One of the greats. CFO of Square. Jack's right. Basically, I think that she was like the secret sauce of Square when in Square's good days. She's now the CFO of OpenAI, but she did leave Square to take Open Door's CEO position. Remember talking about this? And we were talking about like if anybody was going to take PayPal, I thought if PayPal was going to make it, they needed to take Sarah from Square and have her be CEO, but she went to Open Door for whatever. I think that Sarah went to Open Door and did what she does best and saved it from going under. But I think she did that. And so they probably survived for now, but she's gone now. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. So I eventually, I think they go back to where they came from, but I'll just say she's gone. So I got nothing. I got nothing now. No Sarah, no sauce. I have Ring, and I'm like, I don't know what's special about Open Door, because like honestly, Ring has the same functionality. And they have this thing called Ring Neighbors. I'm like,
I thought Ring, that's what Open Door does? Selling and trading residential properties online. I think it's different.
Open Door.
I think they're close to like what a Zillow kind of wants to be.
When I first tried Open Door, it was like the social networking app. It was like social, what's going on in your neighborhood. If they're selling real estate now, that's a massive change. But I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of something wrong. I don't know.
Anyways, I don't know what this is.
I don't know any of those ones.
Right.
Monday. Earnings Watch, though, Palo Alto.
Is this
IPO quiet period?
So this is after the close.
After the close, yeah. And then IPO quiet period, if anyone's trading that. Lucid Group. I didn't know Lucid's talking about doing a 1-to-10 reverse split, but I guess you'll get more info on that maybe today.
Well, they're going to have to stay listed. That's for sure. They go under that threshold for too long. It's no good.
Are they under $1?
They're like $1 and change.
Jeez. Rest in peace.
$2. $2.
There are a couple companies. There is like an AI summit that's going on when you look at that one, the Rosenblatt AI summit. So watch out for that one tomorrow. There's like there's just a couple of other things. The one below it I think is more interesting.
Like Wednesday?
The all day on Tuesday. That Rosenblatt AI Technology Conference will take place, the summit. A lot of companies, a lot of even smaller ones, Magnite, Cisco, HUD 8 Mining, Galaxy Digital, Lattice Semiconductor.
Oh man.
There's a lot of weird random companies that are at that actually.
Target. So Wednesday, Target, which is in the duper. TJX, a lot of people on this Estee Lauder.
Wait, in the comments, I think you were talking about Nextdoor.
Oh. You're probably right. She went to Nextdoor. That sounds right. Then I don't know what Open Door is. I'm definitely thinking about Nextdoor. I'm definitely thinking Nextdoor then. Because I saw this $1 billion in revenue. I was like, I don't know how Nextdoor is doing $1 billion, but if they are, okay. But wherever Sapphire went, that's what I was thinking. If it was not open, then definitely not the same place. Okay, what's this Google? 1 p.m. Google.
iPhone competitor event.
What did you call it?
iPhone competitor, I guess. You know, a little baby
iPhone
guy on
killer
the
event?
No, I said competitor. But yeah, a lot of Google features.
Is that what they're going to call it? The iPhone killer event?
That's what they got to try and market around, right? AI, all that stuff. So, yeah. FOMC minutes also on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. So this is me just totally not understanding Open Door as a actual real estate company. Not even knowing what Open Door is then. So I would have to look up. Vlad is in the server, so this is me not even knowing who Open Door is. Legitimately thinking that Open Door was Nextdoor. I legit thought that Open Door was Nextdoor. So ignoramus over here. Anyways, Pixel. So this is like WWDC, but for Google.
No, more like the September iPhone release event for Google.
Oh, they're front running.
Yes.
Bastards.
No one uses Google phones, the Pixel, so they're going to try and front run.
Well, legitimately, I actually have some friends that own Google Pixel phones.
Well, tell them to watch. They might get a new one. That's FOMC minutes there. 2 p.m. Eastern.
Minutes, 2 p.m. All right, so we have some Google options still. That's important. So Google, definitely important. All right. I mean, Workday is down in the dumpster. Intuit's going to be interesting because September. Okay. So Intuit, Workday, Raw Stores is probably going to move with TJ Maxx, I would assume, which reports first. Wait, Costco new store in Las Vegas. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that feels like it's going to be a little bit of a not a great thing. Disney launches ESPN app. That's interesting.
All right, Disney is teetering on the edge of destruction here. And I'm really interested to see what happens. Like from a price action perspective, Disney, we counted this 6 times, has round tripped 85 to 120. And it hit this 120. And it honestly, it kind of looks like it wants to go back to 85. And I'm like, Bobby, get it together. I don't want to go short. I don't want to do it. We'll see. So there's a new service offering. We're going to have to see how this goes down. maybe, just maybe, it survives and we can trade this next leg. But she's on edge. She is definitely on edge. All right. And then JPAL.
JPAL Friday. Earnings calendar, kind of looked at it, was kind of light. It had some of the names. And then the macro calendar was honestly pretty light too.
Troy going to Ross. Look at this.
By the way, there's a lot of pictures right now of all these European leaders arriving at the White House. A lot of videos. He's 2 pixels. Damn. Well, get excited for your Wednesday event.
I'm just saying. Pixel is like, they're pretty light. Not bad. All right. Do we want to do this, or do we want to just pull up Earnings Hub?
Yeah, you could pull up Earnings Hub. Like, honestly, that's the majority of it. We're really looking. This is a Powell week, and this is a Russia Ukraine week.
Yeah, pan tonight. The default tomorrow morning. Target. Lowe's is. I'm not digging Lowe's, dude. I went to Lowe's. I've been going Home Depot, and they've been busy. Lowe's, not really been digging it. Target, it's a toughie. It's so down in the duper, but like, I've the boys been going to Target lately, and I'm like, I've not been enjoying this experience. I'm just gonna say it, but nonetheless, I'm still showing up. So I really don't know what to say about that. We'll see. We shall see. Estee Lauder. Baidu is probably nothing invent, to be honest. Zoom. This is range bound. Workday's an odd one. So like ServiceNow's coming back slightly. Workday's still range bound. I don't know how much I think Workday could go either way, to be completely frank. There's the BJs. Let's see. Oh, Keys. Here's another semi. People probably don't know this one. Keysight Technologies. This might be. Do they manufacture? I don't think they manufacture. But
isn't Keysight a bank? Am I wrong?
No. No, this is
there is one called KEY. There's the S. Okay.
No. This is actually this is components and stuff. This is actually, my guess is that if I zoom this out, it's a semi. It's been range bound for a bit, but this is a good Keysight. It's like a Marvell ish, but they have like real components. We used to sell this a lot. Anyways, that's been sideways for a lot longer than I would expect. How big is this company now? 28. A D. They're giving them a D. I don't think this deserves a D.
Well, scroll down and look at why it is. So C on earnings the 2 scores they have there, it's growth and it's valuation. So they're saying it's valued heavily, and I'm sure the growth isn't that strong.
PE.
Scroll down a little. Yeah, so it's not growing, and it has a 24 PE is what they're saying.
Well, how is this not growing? That doesn't make any sense to me.
It's not a perfect thing. They're just looking at TTM, trailing 12 months. So maybe it's like there's that's not the best metric for this.
No, it's server components. These go in servers.
If you click on those bars, it will show you what stocks are in there. There you go, your Rocket Lab. Rocket
Oh,
Lab.
these are not bad. These are not correct comparisons.
They're not. Those are just like names. Like this is not sector specific. So you're not just looking at these. Not our scores are just based off names like he says. This is, I believe,
1.16, but still, they should be like.
It should be higher. That's why it doesn't like it.
Yeah. I don't know how to read
That's
this.
the end all be all though. Basically, the way I read this is that those bottom two is just growth. Looking at it, seeing how the growth is at a quick look. The one above it is valuation. And all right, is it growing fast, and how heavily valued is it? That's all I'm getting out of this. To me, it's like good to like quickly look at a lot of stuff, and then once you want to dig into ones a little deeper, then you find something else, you know. But this is a good way to like start.
Yeah. Okay, I understand what this is now. Got it.
Click at the top though. Click the A. Oh, okay, go. You're good. We can keep moving.
The A. Where's the A?
Yeah. Click on just anything there or the score or whatever. I think if you click the D, and then on that top thing, click the far right column, bro. Like that first thing, or key site score, keys over score overview. Yeah, down. No. Now go back. Click so like how you could see what stocks were in the column and the individual ones. I want to see what's like an A up there.
Oh, in this?
No, at the top. In that top one, where like everything is summed together. So go all the way to the right.
This?
That's a D, so all the way on the other side. But yes, right spot.
Oh, A.
Yeah, here we go. Micron, Pfizer, Carnival. Even further, what's there? Progressive Zim. Why is Progressive there? Shift 4.
Oh, hell no.
Jared Isaacman.
Root? No.
I don't know much about it.
Shift 4? No.
All right, we can get back to it. Sorry, I was very intrigued what would be up there.
A and F, baby.
That's not the AEO. Why A and F over AEO? You're not a fan of Sydney Sweeney?
What do you mean?
A&F.
Anyways.
Sorry.
What are we? All good. We're back on your chart. And then I think this is what we're very
we're good.
ADD guys.
I have severe.
All right. So home builder confidence. So we got that's today. Nothing is housing stats for sure for July. This is the meeting minutes that I was talking about, and this is the day that everything kicks off. So I wanted to see where the
They sometimes get added later. Let me see what it says now. Yeah, there's right now it just says Bostic at 7:30 on that day.
It's all good. So I use this trading economics calendar. It's fine. So Bowman's speech is tomorrow. Dissenter number 1. Is it? Yes, no? So
yeah.
You look at a chair.
I didn't know that was a question.
And then Bostic's speech on Wednesday. 5 p.m. Jackson Hole is at the coverage. CNBC is probably going to cover this all day. Bostic's speech again Thursday. Okay. Jobless claims Thursday as always. And then Thursday more. It's like Philly Fed stuff. We had some manufacturing stuff that was a little funky. Balance sheet update, and then Jay Powell's speech on Friday.
That's it on the calendar, though. Nothing past it.
True story.
Bond auctions. There's like a 10-year tips, 20-year or something like that. Maybe it was 30-year tips, but those don't tend to move the markets like the other ones.
Yeah.
Is it the time?
Oh, the time?
That's what I felt like I was getting set up for.
It's the time, boys and girls. Everybody ready? Let's do this. It's time. All right, guys, it is time for the T in TA, which stands for, of course, tarot. So we talk to our good friend, Miss Cleo. Every week, she sends us a nice little forecast, a little tarot card reading. If you're new to the stream, sorry, but not sorry. This is for fun, for giggles, for whatever, but oddly accurate from week to week. I don't know how she does it. Just saying, it's kind of magic. It's just, astrology. But the T in TA stands for tarot. And this is our tarot card reading for the week. The way this works, we get a theme card for the week. That's up on top. I'm not really this is just completely unclear to me, so I have no idea what to expect. So I'm looking at this. This looks like the 3 of Cups. It's a 3. 3 is a low number. That's all I know. It looks like they're happy. They're partying, but they look like they're in Wyoming. And there's a little crop feast. And yeah, who knows, right? They're celebrating. This is Jackson Hole. That's all I see. And there you have it. So the 3 of Cups is the theme card for the week. That takes us down to the weekly cards or daily cards, sorry, which we have a 8 of Sticks. Sticks is not what it's called. It's called Wands. I'm sorry. So an 8 of Wands. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is it. I don't know what to make of this. Maybe it's a sticky day. I don't know. But there are some wands in our present. And then we go to the Knight of Pentacles. It's another yellow card, but who knows? So Knight of Pentacles, he's riding a horse. What happens Tuesday? Nothing really happens on Tuesday. We've geared up for battle. I think we were coming out of battle. No, we were going to battle. Then we had our pre-battle celebration, right? Our pre-battle celebration, thinking about the last couple of weeks. Yeah, then we're riding off into this. Oh, this guy looks like he's riding off into the sunset. That's what it looks like. So the night we've mounted the horse, we're riding off into the sunset, and we're going to see the Queen of Cups. And then there's some water down here. Oh, this guy looks like there's a little hidden demon child underneath the chair. Maybe he's sneaking around with some little angels up here, something a little sus about the Queen. But we've gone to see the Queen. And then, whoa. I don't know. And then it looks like we're burying our gold. The 7 of coins, pentacles. Maybe we have to go hide our fortunes because this guy looks angry. 7 of coins and then 7 of wands. I think we have to go hide our treasure from this guy, dude.
All right. So let me tell you why you're wrong. Zoom out a little bit.
Let me have it. I really don't know how to read these, but let me have it.
Zoom out a little bit.
Zoom out. All right.
So that first card clearly is a cheers. We just destroyed everyone, and we have won.
Yeah. We're at Jackson Hole. We've made
guys. We won the battle.
Arrived. We have arrived.
Monday, we're throwing our spears. We're gonna get in there in victory. That bottom
we're
left
throwing
card.
spears. Okay. All right, I can get with this.
Enemies. Maybe we're getting some hits here, but we win the battle. Tuesday, we're taking the riches, and we're going over and giving the money to our the Queen, of course. And then obviously from that.
Wait. So what's up with this little demon kid?
It's not a demon kid.
He's got a fish in his hand or something.
It's look. There's water around them. It's part of the gods thing. And look, our 1 coin became 7, and we're now tending the land and stuff like that. And then guess what?
That's what you're taking. This he looks so angry, dude. Come on.
Yeah, Thursday we're tending the land up 2%, all-time high. Like Wednesday's a new all-time high. Thursday's another new all-time high. Great day. Friday, guess what? We're preparing for battle next week. Okay, we've been called again. Let's go get more plunder for next week. Bang.
Near the top. We're preparing for battle again. All right, that's Evan's take. It's always up for interpretation.
That's just what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Hey, look, so we're clearly not professional tarot card readers, which is why, you guys, this is just for comedic relief. What's up, Carl? But we have to bring in Miss Cleo because Miss Cleo is the professional. So let's see what she has to say. But it's all well and good. We can try to interpret this beforehand, but the professional card reader, we got to bring him in. So Miss Cleo says the theme card is the Three of the Cups.
Bring him in? What?
Miss Cleo.
Santa's not real?
Theme card. The theme card is the Three of Cups. The Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords last week set a trap for the bulls. Well, did it? Did we go higher? No? We did go higher, though. Seven of Swords last week set a trap for the bulls, and now we draw a 3 to send us backwards. Oh, she's straight up saying backwards. Maybe to the source of the trap. Okay. It has a history of mean reversion, the Three of Cups, but is a low energy card. Therefore, I think we may see some buy side pressure, but it's unlikely we get very far. Choppy. Is it choppy or is it trappy? It's not very weak, though. All right, so Monday. Monday is the Eight of Wands. Similar to what... she does a crypto reading also. Similar to what crypto is drawn on Monday, stocks receive a card that brings rapid movement. Wands imply wild swings and impulsivity, but eights can signal the beginning... Eights can signal the beginning of the end in a particular movement. This card mean reverts when following a lesser card, but continues when following a higher card. Do I have to pull up Friday? Having followed the ace of coin. Okay, thank you. Having followed the ace of coin, it suggests continuation, which means red bias for both crypto and stocks on Monday. Well, okay then. Are we red? I haven't even looked at this. It depends on. I guess it depends on what you're looking at.
I say we're red.
Are we red? Yeah. Oh, dude, she's actually pretty spot on right now. All right, Tuesday, the Knight of Pentacles. So this is when we've gone on. We've jumped on the horse and we're riding off to the sunset. Yeah. Look for a slow and steady grind in the same direction as Monday's action.
You just said slow and slutty. I wouldn't have interrupted you again there. I think you did.
All right. Well, we'll have to pull.
You corrected yourself. Yeah. I want to hear what chat. Did you hear that?
Chat. Go on. Oh, well, no. Carl, we, sir, are not red. No. Tuesday, look for a slow and steady grind in the same direction as Monday's price action. Remember, I said slow and steady, not impulsive or trendy. That means today is not a day to place big bets. Well, clearly Miss Cleo is an options trader. So kudos to Miss Cleo. Wednesday is the Queen of Cups. This is the one I couldn't really tell. The opposite, this card trends when following a low energy day. So if Tuesday is low energy, then Wednesday would be high energy, usually in the opposite direction. So if Tuesday is slow chop down ski, then Wednesday pop ski. So Wednesday's the big day. Or if Tuesday is slow grind up ski, Wednesday big pop down ski. which means bear flag setup. Boof. Okay, so Queen of Cups. This card trends when following a low energy day, usually in the opposite direction. It slows down to a chop after a busy day. Okay. Direction is difficult to peg, but has a slight negative bias. If we get a trend setup, then just play momentum. If we don't, then it's a good day to chill and wait for the next setup. So the move is for Wednesday, which, lo and behold, aligns with everything we've talked about so far. Jackson Hole, FOMC minutes release. My gut is that it will align with this minutes release, or whatever dissenter says, but we shall see. Thursday, 7 of Pentacles. Look for a bit of mean reversion here. Buying pressure if Wednesday brings selling pressure. Buying pressure Wednesday brings selling pressure Thursday. So if Wednesday was up, then Thursday is down, or vice versa. That does not guarantee a closing candle color, sure, but says which direction we should be playing for most of the day. Well, that sounds like a chop week, if I've ever heard of one. This card's keywords imply hard work. The 7 of Pentacles. What was the Thursday? Was the it was we were digging the hole. This is the Thursday we were digging. We were burying our gold. I thought we were burying our gold. What did you think we were doing? Something.
Yeah, 10-year land.
Yeah, it implies hard work, patience, and self-evaluation. It's a day to check your positions and make sure they are on track, which also implies not open new ones. Friday, 7 of Wands. We're surprised by sudden... What? Whoa. So this was the Angry Farmer card. I'm going to call it the Angry Farmer card from now on. We're surprised by a sudden attack in the middle of the night. Dude, is this like a metaphor, or is it like a legitimate attack in the middle of the night? That's not a cool sentence to actually say. Not right now. We're surprised by it. Does she legit call this? Is she legit saying this, Evan?
Hey, listen, sometimes you defend attacks, move forward on the advance, and rip your way off to new... sometimes a failed a bearish move is very bullish. So sometimes a failed advance...
Not sometimes. Like that is you can put that in the vault and throw away the key. A failed bearish move is always bullish, and vice versa. But surprised by a sudden attack in the middle of the night, that is a very unique phrase to use. Is it not? Why would you?
There are some countries close to war. No, I'm kidding.
Why would you use that sentence?
Is Miss Cleo saying something's going to happen Russia, Ukraine Thursday night?
I don't know. That is a very unique sentence. Surprised by a sudden attack in the middle of the night. I don't know what that could mean. This leads to a gap up or down and a mean reversion setup for the day. Out of nowhere, basically. So some kind of headline. Legit, Miss Cleo is calling for a headline, some headline risk between Thursday and Friday night. That's wild. So how do you call for headline risk? I mean, I'm just okay. Headline risk overnight Thursday to Friday that you're not going to see in the chart. Maybe not. Thursday chop brings, but then Thursday chop brings chop here. Trend Thursday brings trend Friday. Okay, you can't have these two paragraphs. See, Miss Cleo, you can't have this paragraph followed by that paragraph. You cannot. That does not work. and mean reversion. Gap up or down and. So, okay. You can't gap, mean revert, and trend. So it's a gap and go Friday. This is full reversal. Thursday chop brings chop here. You can't chop, or can you? I don't know. This is a tricky set. This is a tricky read on Friday. So it could be gap and go. It could be gap and stall. But she's definitely calling for a gap Friday. It's straightforward in terms of after the gap, what to do. It's either going to stall or it's going to continue. It's either going to be a gap and go or it's going to be a gap and stop. But she's thinking it's going to be a gap in the opposite direction of Thursday. Wow. That is a bold. I don't think I've seen her call this kind of a bold call. Because she's either going to be right or wrong. She is wrong from time to time, guys. So let's just keep it at that. But that's a bold call, Miss Cleo. That is a bold call on specifically a surprise attack in the middle of the night. I don't know. Of some sort. It's very wild. Like crypto, there's a lot of weakness and chop. This doesn't mean we can't close the week green, but it will be a battle. This one caught me off guard, dude. What do you think about this Friday, Evan?
Confusing.
I mean, that's a bold call.
Yeah, so she is calling for something overnight.
Straight up. There's no confusion.
Trump and Zelensky are live right now, by the way.
Crack attack. That's a bold call. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Even Ava's like, whoa. If you're confused, no wildcard. We're not selling it all. If you're confused, there's a gap rule. There's a way to trade gaps. There's a price action strategy around gaps. Like when you gap overnight, there are one or two things that can happen. You will either gap and continue, or you will gap and stall, and that is very common from a trading perspective. So seeing that. That's very typical, but to call for a gap now, I mean, that is all I know is that I got a new name for this, and now we know that this is the angry farmer card, and that when we see the angry farmer card, it's possibly an overnight attack, a surprise attack of some sort.
Look at him. He is defending his land. We have defended ourselves from this surprise attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it was a Thursday, we know that there's this really weird statistics that like gaps do get filled on Thursdays, but really not usually on Fridays. If the gap happens between Thursday and Friday, I think the gap extends. But if a gap happens from Wednesday to Thursday, I think the gap reverses a lot. It's very weird. So hide your gold on Thursday might imply take profits on Thursday if you have them. But this could be choppiness. So the spears of Monday, collect your booty, take it to the bank as it arrives, and party before the surprise attack shows up. Jeez. Yo, I'm sorry, guys, but that's what she says. I did take a little trade desk. That one's off the lows.
I'm not surprised on a trade there got destroyed, it got whacked, but truthfully, I had it in my more longer term portfolio, and I sold out after the earnings at like 60, like the first day. I sold out in after hours and most of
Do you
it.
guys want a little secret? I mean, this is like school of game stuff, but which, by the way, we're really working towards this. If you're not in the server, by the way, when the next iteration of School of Gains does release, which it will, I'm really hoping to get it out by the end of September. This last School of Gains was the last live one, but the release is going to be it's going to be the biggest release that we've done to date. We are talking probably like 45 plus courses. It's like, and it is, it's going to be massive. It's just an absolute beast of a release, but it's a lot of net new curriculum. But it's taking the journey of a trader from near inception, and giving you is really like the bachelors of trading, like your bachelors of trading. Like you'll get legitimately a 4-year degree for the baseline, and then we'll have really like a master's degree and a doctorate's degree, like with final exams in the whole nine. But it will be like a forever type thing. Anyways, my point was that this today was the first day it actually broke through a daily high. So it was the first time it had a prior day high on Trade Desk. and that prior day happened to be a breakdown level. So this is what we would call a failed breakdown. So this area ends up actually being like a liquidity grab. And if you were to take this breakdown here, and I'll show you what this looked like, honestly, on UNH, this was that prior week's kind of section. And so this morning, over 53, that kind of locks in a liquidity sweep essentially here. And so right now the target is really just into this 56, 57 area. But as long as this holds over 53 right now, we actually do know that this is no longer going down. And so that could serve as a near-term stop loss if you did ever want to get long into Trade Desk. As long as this is holding 53, that can easily be a very tight stop loss on this equity. It's not going down anymore. If it's not, doesn't mean it's going up. Going up would be over 57. So that has to look like this to for sure say it's going up, but it's not going down anymore. As far as right now is concerned, it could be just traversing this box. It could traverse that box a bunch of times. As long as you don't see that type of trajectory, that would mean it is going down. But this setup is very much a key setup, and what we saw, what you could have seen on UNH, and this yellow line right here at 290, I believe, and also this quarterly low. This was on a mid stream. When you look at candles from a larger time frame perspective, and it's going to be very hard to see. I'll take these drawings off for a second. But this was May monthly candle right here. That's that May monthly low. This is July monthly candle here. And then this is August monthly candle before 13F release. And now I'm going to drop down to a weekly. This is August or July, end of July, below 248. As far as price action is concerned, UNH is actually going down. And this is Friday, Monday, and this was, I think this was a technical Tuesday. If not, this was, what day is this? This is a Friday, Monday. Maybe this was a technical Tuesday. Either one of these, if it was this, it might have been this technical Tuesday right here. But the second it got over this 249 area, this whole moment right here actually becomes a liquidity grab. And so in that instance, you also know that UNH, forget about all this. That doesn't matter anymore. This became your trigger at 250. Anything over 250, you know it's no longer going down. And you actually, in this instance, know where it's going up to. It's to this blue line. Is that blue line? Let me turn this lines on real quick. Oh, you guys might freak out. So I haven't even done this yet. You're going up to this monthly high of 320 right here. So first things first, you go to the weekly, prior week high is 310. If you clear that, as long as you clear that 270, 269.50. Let me make this bigger so you can see this. There's no way that you can see this right now. Still, you can't see it. You should be able to see this. So this is a weekly candle high, low. Yellow is a monthly candle high and low. Red is a quarterly candle high and low, which this is the red. Quarterly is up here, 604. So down here is all of that 250 area. So once you reclaim this, you kind of knew. 13F season was, when did that 13F come out? Over here. 13F came out right here. And overnight it was at 310. So your trigger long was way over here, over 250, well before any of that 13F. So if you had a trading system, you should have had that, anything in here. So you don't need a 13F. And at that point, your first target would have actually been here. And this is your weekly range. Actually, your first target would have been there, all the way up to now here. And this yellow line is that monthly. So now your target is 325, just on a monthly scale. If you can get over 325, and I think that's where you really are looking now. If you can get over 325, you're looking at this quarterly block. That's this right here. That's that quarterly as in your 3 month trade. You have to get over. Why does this look like it's in log scale? I hate when they do that. You actually have to get over 425. So if you can get over 330, you're going to have to hold that for a while. The next target's going to be 425. And that looks like a long road to haul. Then you're going to deal with the 200-day. Then it's going to be 480. And ultimately, if you can get there, it's 6. That's like December's, maybe. That would have to be the trajectory. And by then, you're going to be passing through earnings, dividends, and all of that. But I think realistically, let me get some confluence here. A couple of things. So one, if this is the monthly, you have to get through that monthly range first. The first target getting you 50% of that monthly candle, 370, and then 407. Yeah, which will actually put you right in line with this order block right over here. So about the 400s. $400s would be in range if this can continue. $400s in range over 3. It's got to crack over 325s. Then the 400s become a reality. All right. Done with that. So I'm kind of glad I got that out of the way. Before I go anywhere else, I got to look at S&P 500. So usually we'll take a quick 30-minute view. I'm having to do this insane zoom right now so that you guys can see the numbers on the side of my screen, which I honestly am not a fan of, but let me see. I need a new layout. See if I can get this for you guys. Kind of better. Kind of better. All right, so I'm going to take off all my indicators and stuff like that, just so we can tell like where we are from a non-farm payroll perspective. We are well above that initial 628 area. We're well above the 20-day simple. We are a bit extended. And for today, we are below a 3-day balance. So 1, 2, 3 days, we are opening and not able to extend. So straight up for right now, as long as we're below 644 on SPY, I have to give the edge to the bears. Ooh, right here and right now. As long as we're below that pre-market high, we have to give the edge to the bears from us, like from SPY's perspective. You see this like volume shelf on the right-hand side. That's a 3-day balance. We do have a pretty, that's a pretty crystal clear volume shelf. And then we have a pretty low volume pocket right here on the right-hand side. This is probably a lot better for you guys to see. Yeah, so this is yesterday's low, 642.50. If we do get below yesterday's low, there's just no way. But 646 is last week's high. I think this would be essentially your balance zone in here. And then this yellow line, 640, 639, that's last month's high. So for sure, these are all kind of like choppy dips. If you have some kind of trajectory like that, that's fine. That's chop. But in no scenario do you want to see this. That's a bad scenario. And so that's a pivot at 640 right here, which is going to be your monthly high. This channel up looks like we're actually tagging that. This would be a break of structure and what we would call, just like we just did on that prior, like that UNH chart where you look at a liquidity grab to the downside, that actually means that this whole move, if you get this kind of a breakdown, this is the exact same thing. But if I inverse the chart, Alt-I, you would say, oh, look, this is super bearish. If this, like, we see this. If you see this, where all of a sudden price, not that, the price gets back up above. But just know, all I did here was I inversed the chart. So if you're used to looking at bullish things, just flip the chart upside down. You have to see this from a price action perspective. Otherwise, you need to be very cautious of what we would call a look above and fail on a multi-day perspective. And that could take, I guess, to Miss Cleo's point, a whole week to play out. Like, that doesn't have to happen here. And this is last week's low. If you get a close below 635, that's going to close you below the 20-day simple. And at that point, you actually do want to have some kind of protection, probably on from an index perspective. And that would be your first real key metric at 640. So losing 640 is not going to be fun. And that creates kind of a look above and fail at the index level. So keep that in mind for now. And that would actually be that retest of 628 here. I think that locks that in. But as long as we're holding this, we can kind of stay the course. How come this is not showing up? Oh, there it is. As long as we're kind of holding this, ideally, this is Monday. If we can get that bullish retest, cool. That's from the bear side. If I'm going to be a bull and stay a bull, that monthly 640 area happens to be what we would call like a golden pocket. So a bullish pullback and retest. You would want to see something like this end up showing here. You can have some kind of chop like this, and then you'll have a break, and you would need to see that. You would need to see that breakthrough. All to say that, look, this week does set up for a lot of chop. Any of that means, all of those setups means you got to be pretty patient here. Any way you slice it. This is not set up as a week to press anything like at all. All of those scenarios will take a pretty significant amount of time actually to play out. So today, same thing. You're sitting on yesterday's lows. For the Qs, I think you look at this, you're actually closer to the retest on QQQ than you are on SPY. So here's your similar kind of setup on QQQ. I mean, this can go on for a while. The only thing here that's different is like, you're in it already. So you're in that essentially retest zone that you would want to stop. From a Q's perspective, you're already at 50% of the weekly swing low to swing high retracement. So you don't really want to see a whole lot lower on QQQ here. And that's that monthly high or prior month high 545. If you go below that, then the month of August actually turns red. So that would be a key technical pivot from that perspective. And you become that look above and fail for August, which would be no good. Even still, though, you might have that chop like this, which would take some time to actually play out. So this is what you really need to be cautious of. So still, this would mean that you have some time to get out of the way, but this is what you don't want to see. You would have to see essentially this play out and hold for recovery. That's what you'd have to see. Any of that, whether that's here or later, is TBD, but that's what you would have to see. And that's over, and holding to confirm would have to be over 580, and that would still eventually have to extend over 585. Possible, but that's what has to happen for that to confirm. Otherwise, you don't want to get stuck in this chop box. Not going to be fun. Momentum still upside. Bigger concern is like this is very steep. This is a pretty steep angle. Not that that's a big deal. One thing I'd want to see is if this was a standard deviation channel. It's probably at the very bottom end of the channel. So again, where you would want to see it get saved from itself is literally right here, right now. Like literally here. At least that's for the Qs. Diamonds. Actually, diamonds a little bit more constructive. IWM, more constructive. So let's do one we don't usually look at. That's RSP. This is what I've been kind of watching a little bit more so in terms of like this is more broadening out. So RSP is the equal weighted SPY. This one has been more constructive than the rest. As long as this isn't really just falling off a cliff, I think you can stay constructive. What I just charted out is like, this is the warning signs of what bad will look like. I think these equal weighted ETFs will give you the sign first. If these don't start breaking down, I think you can stay a little bit more constructive and just know, hey, look, maybe we are a bit extended, but if these equal weighted ETFs can start chopping a little bit more upside, even if the market cap weighted ETFs are struggling to stay alive, this one will probably give you the Q first, because this means that the market is generally broadening. And conversely, if the dollar is ripping, so DXY, if the dollar is ripping to the upside, that's not going to be what we want to see. So Dixie, dollar-weighted basket of currencies, if the dollar is ripping to the upside, that is a legitimate flight to cash. If RSP is holding up strong-ish and doing pretty well, equal-weighted ETF, that means that the market is just rotating around and money is being spread out across other less expensive stocks, if you will, and that's generally a healthy thing, and less of a cause for concern overall. But if this index, this RSP index, is not holding up well, and you're seeing that breakdown that we just tried out at the higher index level, and you're also seeing the dollar fly to the upside, breaking structure upside, that is a maybe even more than that is a hard, I would say it's a hard stop. I think that is you need to put protection on, not just like a warning sign. I think I think those things all together is it's not financial advice, but it's very, very much near ripcord time. Or at least just pause. Do not put any more longs on. It's more than a warning sign. That's all I'd say. Okay. Evan, you're up.
Hello. Can you lift me higher?
So this would be an example of like if RSP is going to do what it's doing, this would be one of those stocks that's down in the doldrums. I don't know how this thing, I blinked, the stupid stock is at $12, right? It's like literally post earnings is like literally $12. I've left it for dead. This guy shows up, he's like, oh, I'm in lyft. And I'm like, okay, I just looked at it, it was $12. And then I look and it's like $16. I'm like, are you joking? Like, when did that happen? I'm like, this is what happens with these stupid, like, small price stocks. Oh my God. So when the answer is over 1372, I would be so late to this party here, but very much like the rest of these charts that we just looked at, UNH, or what was the other one that we're just looking at, TTD. When you have this scenario, these lines are stuff that we look at, but it's remember I said yellow is the monthly candle. If I take all the lines off, when I say yellow is the monthly candle, yellow is literally the monthly candle. It's that prior month low. It's literally, that is it. If you don't know how to figure that out, it's literally that, right? So drop back down to whatever time frame. There it is. So when it reclaimed that prior month low, that is the moment that you're like, ooh, she's back in business. So the question is, where does she go? Whenever you reclaim a prior month candle, well, your maximum upside initially becomes that candle's high. And you have to kind of track its journey, which means that you pull out your little fib tool. And the journey is like, if you're over 50% of that prior month's high, it's very probable that you're going to go to the absolute high. Sometimes you'll have something that we call it like a fair value gap, which means that there's very likely a very small volume pocket, like a small low volume pocket to be found. And here it is on lyft. Right over here. So there is a low volume pocket, and it's right up in here. And that shows up in a couple places, 1588 to 16 and change. We can see it, and it technically goes up to 1650, but let's see where she is. Oh, there she is right there. So she's on it. So right now, if you get over 1612, you go up to 1650 and you should see next month's high. Bingo, bango. I guess you are basically there. So if you can get over next month's high, and unfortunately, it's just this simple. I say unfortunately, 1752 is where you go, which would just be the next closest high to that, 1750. And no, I'm not going to go in the weeds and get all like weird on this, because you could, but here's what's going to happen. Once you're at that 1650, right? 1650, what's going to happen to this candle? You're literally going to be right at the top of this consolidation again. Is it safe to say that this breaks out? No, we won't know. If you get to 1750, what happens? You're probably going to stop, and you might come back, and then you're going to have to reassess the situation. Will you get a continuation? Will you have to see that? Does this all happen like in a day? I don't know. Right? But these are the first scenarios. But that's what you're going to have to, that's really what you're going to have to see. But so far, dude, what a recovery. Good night.
What a recovery.
What a recovery indeed. A sleeper. A sleeper. But you know what's true is, like, dude, if this does have the recovery, I don't think you're missing anything yet, quite frankly. So I wouldn't be too overly concerned. If you're talking about that 3-month candle kind of setup, look, we're not even near, like, that 1790 is that quarterly high anyways, 1750. So you're back to it. And if you get to that next, that's 19, and you still have some work to do at the absolute highs, but this all looks to 20, but TBD. It would be a longer journey on this guy. TBD. But somehow lyft survives. I think at this point, it turns into like a Rivian. Does it survive? You have a very heavy accumulation down here. You got one more?
Ooh. The other one that's first to mind is Intel, but I don't know if we want to go down.
I mean, Intel's it's very headline driven right now. Super political. So it's hard. We could do the same exercise, but honestly, it hasn't broken out yet. It's right here. So 24.59. you're actually not out of the weeds here. You're legit.
Definitely not.
Yeah, well, if you wanted to know, now you know. You are not.
I've been rolling this one. I've been rolling both of these because they scare me.
No, yeah, I mean, it is right here. But you should know, this is your prior breakdown level. Technically, this was prior support. It's good to know, right? Like you could just look back at, I'm using a weekly candlestick chart right here. So this was major weekly support, turned major resistance, still major resistance. So this is like a large range, 27s in here. It's not, so resistance support, it's not like a hard line in the sand. It can breach through, obviously, when you have wicks like this. I mean, shoot, this could be this big of a range because it did traverse this entire range for a while. So it's not a small range. You can have like a pop like that and still come through, or a pop like this, obviously, because it's happened multiple times in the past. So really, it's not like till it's completely clear of 30s, which you probably know in the back of your head that it's not.
To me, this play has played out, and I'm like, all right, the 25, we're gonna get smacked again. I don't trust it.
Actually, sorry, 32s.
But but I can't help myself having some profit, like swings or whatever. Going.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, like you probably know in the back of your head, like what the levels are, but it is what it is, 32.15. It's really not until it's firmly over that 32.15 again. Geez, it's a while. So this has got to be one that is equity, because this could take all of 2027 to get over that. Even just because this is such a huge range. That's a 30% range. So there's a lot of trading to be had in there.
I wouldn't be surprised if it never filled it. What I do want to say, though, is before we go to other people, you guys should give the stream a like if you haven't already. If you aren't subscribed, you for sure should be subscribed if you enjoy this and want to see this more. But give the stream a like. Shout out, Jason. I appreciate
you, brother. All right. I will scroll up. I'll pick a couple. Chris Camille shorted Google. I don't know. I saw a handful of people shorting some stuff today. I saw somebody shorting Palantir, all kinds of stuff. Target, yeah. Let me see. So rate cuts, I don't know. So some of the, did you see the 500 billion? Is it billion or million? Wait, yeah, I guess we can do biddy. So this is definitely not extending upside. We're down on the week for Bitcoin. So to think that mstr, I saw mstr, that's why I looked at it. So to think that, nope. Yeah, so no, you have to get over. So here's how that stuff works. So all this stuff is true, right? So here's the low of the week, 360.03 mstr. So far, and this is just today, you're at last week's lows. It can zoom in. You have a very small liquidity grab. You have to hold this. It's way early. And I mean like way early on this guy. It is Monday. And if Monday's going to be generally bullish, then you have, so if the week is to be generally bullish, then you really need to lock the lows in today, which opening red does set up for that to be a more ideal, a more probable possibility, actually. But here now on MSTR, that means that you have to really lock in this area and firmly close above, which you won't really know until tomorrow. So I would just wait on this. You're definitely not getting over, like you're definitely not, unless you're closing above 370. So no, and you're not going lower either. So if you're below 360, it's a short on MSTR this week. XHB is it's the whole index has gone pretty far, and I think quite frankly, I think it's a bit stretched. Look, Home Depot is going to report, and a lot of the housing sector, a lot of the move in the housing sector has to do with rates. So knowing all of that, and knowing that we're going to have this Jackson Hole Symposium this week, we're going to have FOMC minutes. It kind of puts this trade also on pause, meaning I don't think you press this bet. I think that Home Depot is going to be interesting to watch. That will probably move this market. But even if they do well as an individual company, the rhetoric that comes out of Jackson Hole is probably going to move this sector as a whole more so than one individual retailer. So I would not press bets here either. This is very much of a sit and wait week. The one place here, Nike, Apple, I think Nike post retail sales has earnings coming the end of September. This one in a bit of a different setup. This one doesn't have a lot of the news going for it. It's got the gap up post earnings and continuing to the upside. This one of all of them, I am actually long here. This one looks like a better setup thus far. I think, yeah, monthly, we go, going back, way back. So monthly here off of the balance zone. This monthly looks good, dropping back down in the weekly. Currently over prior week high, just barely, but still looking for what's the next high, 80. Can we continue on? As long as we can continue to hold 77 and change, I think that's a possibility. Little like high and tight flag breaking up higher today. Look, as long as we can hold this balance area, 77 and a quarter, and this general area, this here looks decent. If we fail, you have to be super aware that the bears are sitting out here saying, oh, look, it's a big multi-week head and shoulders. But look, they say that about all kinds of stuff. You guys know I am no pattern trader. By the way, anyways, if that were to be a head and shoulders, like pristine area where the bears would step in is going to be closer to that 80% or $80 level anyways, or really 70, just under 79, and where they have that really thin structure to fill in right in here. So all that said, I still have my trade. That is still decent. So there you have it on Nike. I think we are good. And I'm over that prior week high. Apple, I think when's the event?
I don't think we have a confirmed date yet.
We don't have a confirmed date.
Expected to announce September 9th.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
so that's like
we should be getting this date very soon. They're going to be sending out invites. Honestly, maybe this week.
All right. So inside day, inside week, inside pre-market level. This is as like sit on your hands as you can possibly be. Do not touch Apple right here, right now. Is it over all your key stuff? Yeah, it is. Is it going up? No. I think I said on all the last streams, sell some September short dated calls. I think this is after a big run up like this, having a little bit of a rest, not down, but going sideways. Oh, this is exactly what that is. I'm getting paid to hold this at the moment. I'm short some shorter dated calls. Can this come down a little bit? Sure, it can. Is it? No, it's not. Does it need to go up? No, I don't need it to go up at all. This is doing exactly what I want it to do right now, and that is go to the right. So I'm happy here and now. That quarterly high is 225. I think it doesn't need to go lower. It doesn't need to go higher. Stocks go three directions. And right now, this is going in direction number 3. So leave it alone. It's not going higher until it's over through 235. And it's not going lower until it's under 230. If it does go lower below 230, then it's 225. So you got a $5 chunk here. That's it. If it goes higher, it's a small chunk as well to 240. And I don't even think that that's necessarily worth chasing 238 into that last little low volume pocket. At which point, you know what I'm going to say? It's also going to be going sideways. So let this bad boy relax, chill. I'm in some calendar spreads. This is a big move. I would expect that, like, especially in this kind of environment. And even if that happens, I would expect that. And then that. And then maybe if you're lucky that, but then I would expect that. So like, I'm going to chill. Going to chillax on this one. Cool. That's Apple. bmnr. bmnr. I think you need to look at ETH also. This is like Apple-y, like looking like Apple. So this is red on the day, but right smack in the middle of the week. Interesting spot on the week's balance zone. It's kind of like retest here. This is a hard call. bmnr did not do the dilution. It came back and I was looking for 54 to hold, which it did. So after not breaking out to 70, look, it didn't break through 70. When it doesn't break out through 70, I think you were ready for a $54 pullback. But it still has the risk of that dilution coming. Just because it pulls back doesn't mean that it's going to come back and hold. I think that it can bounce, but I don't think it breaks out either, not without Ethereum breaking. So I think that's in this range. If it breaks out, cool. So the range is to 85. But you still have that risk of dilution happening. So then I think that you still have that $15 dilution potential, which it puts us in a really funky spot. Unless dilution happens when you're at 55, because at that point, then it's a $15. It's $15 chunks. So if you get dilution at 55, then it's to 40, just under 40 to 38s. Into that balance zone. And if for whatever reason it breaks range, the range isn't broken until it's over 70. And at that, and in that scenario, it's up to 85. So it's a $15 chunks here or there. And in the meantime, you have a $15 chunky range that's tradable. But I think it's in a trading range at the moment. That's my take on bmnr, but it's tradable here. Hoodie, I don't know. Hoodie's wild, dude. Right off the 20. Look at that. Shocking. Is that on something else? To see Hoodie up there, dude, that is like a next level stock. Right off the 20, Thursday. Deep in the red this morning. This thing just blows my mind every time. Holding 114 and this balance area. It's interesting. 117 is green on the week. Maybe it chops in that range. But that's a wild kind of dip this morning. You guys saw that right into this liquidity. That's encouraging for sure.
They just put out a post. They just put out a post.
Look at my chart.
Like a hood month or something, and
Yeah.
they're going to be doing like the like incentives to get people over.
I mean, look at that. That whole 1, 2, 3. So unlike SPY, where like the 3-day balance zone is above 1, 2, 3 day. Today, hoodie, it's a 3-day balance zone, but it's below. Now you're back into the overhead supply. It's like, can you get out of this overhead supply? If you can, cool. And then you want this area to hold. Right now, you're going to go, right now, this moment, you're going to actively battle the chop. So you're not out of the woods yet, but that 3-4 day chop zone is encouraging. This is overhead resistance though. Like, do you buy stocks at resistance? No. You usually don't go long into resistance. You usually go long at support. And so like the nearer term support is obviously down here. I say obvious to a trader. That was your, this here is encouraging. So this was prior resistance here, right? So prior resistance, turn support here, continued as support. So look at that. Prior resistance here, confirmed as resistance, turned into support, confirmed as support, again confirmed as support this morning. That is a pretty textbook, what we call SR flip. So SR meaning SR flip. So support turned resistance. Well, in this case, resistance turned into support. That's encouraging. I mean, and that is, I mean, any other pro in here, that is encouraging. I mean, that is incredible to see so many times. To see this over and over and over again and again and again. It's just like, you just don't see it that often. You know?
Does Cha feel? Okay.
What?
Robinhood and Palantir have been rippy. Robinhood will maybe can it continue? Question mark. Feels a little bit easier to see.
I mean, look at this. feel like I have to post this.
So what we saying? 115, 120? Well, up to like 125. Back test around 120. Hoodie. What is the white one again?
Did I spell resistance right? Is it with the E or A?
It's not resistance.
No, ants or ents.
I think you spelled it right. You spelled support wrong though.
What?
No, I'm just messing with you. Sorry.
Dude, what a troll.
You're good.
Palantir, can we say the same thing? Well, the issue with Palantir is that the resistance that might be available to turn into support is way down here at 161. Or I'm sorry, at 155. Because the prior resistance level that needs to show up again is over here. So if we do the same kind of exercise, that is the issue. There was no kind of like breakdown in here. Should wait a little bit longer. Or at best, maybe 160s. Because this, if you're going to look at this as possibly a chop zone, I mean, it's a 1-2 days. Whereas like if we compare hood, it's a 1-2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-day-ish area after 1, 2. I mean, how much time is this? It's a 30-day balance. So it's a much more significant area. All right, hoodie or nvda. So resistance confirming resistance. So if I just did the same exact exercise, this one is not looking good. I think this one this has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. And see this here? This being your key day in the pre-market. And second key here. I think you put your hedges on NVIDIA today. I said that.
Oh, wow, that's quite a statement.
Yeah.
Paper Gains, I'm holding 220 calls for NVIDIA January 16th.
Nope.
Profit. Anybody so?
Well, I don't. So Miss Cleo says chop. I think you could sell some short dated calls against it. So this is your balance zone, right? You're opening here. You have yet another little liquidity grab. Here's your major resistance. Right? That's 184s. So in a bull market, you make the lows early in the session and you close on the highs, right? Or in a trending, not say bull market, but when you're going up day to day, you typically make the lows early and you typically close on the highs. So far, just this one day, and you're in the middle. So far, you've made the high early. You've opened at the low. If I just drop down intraday. I'll just, let me throw in a day trading. So pre-market area is way down here. You're not going down below pre-market levels. You're this HD, that's prior day high. You're not over prior day high either. That's here. So for sure, you really need to close today over that prior day high balance. You really want to. It looked really strong in the morning, but that confirmed your overhead resistance. Right now, it looks like you're going to battle with that for a little bit, so you can continue to battle, right? Throughout the week. Remember, NVIDIA has earnings to come, so it's not like everybody's going to be tossing it out. I think you could continue it in this battle zone, but I also think that this is stuck and you could hedge it at this point. And if you get this rejection in the back half of the day, and today you close towards the lows, then today if that's the case, then you know that you've locked the high of the day early and you've closed towards the lows. And then if the next day you continue on like this and you do it again and you lock the highs and then you close towards the lows, then you have a beginning of a new trend. And then if you do it again, even if it's higher, but you lock the highs early and you close towards the lows, okay, well, you're doing it again. And then if you do it again, right, then you lock the highs and you close toward the lows. Then you know this is what's beginning to happen. But that's how it could happen. Conversely, right? Like, because this is only half of the day. If you lock the lows and let's say you can close towards the highs, let's say you have a closing candle up here. Well, that whole thing is kind of gone, right? Because then you close towards the highs today, right? And you're over here. And then let's say tomorrow you do something like this and you close towards the highs. Then you've locked the low in and you've closed towards the highs. That's a different story. So stay open for interpretation, but this is trading, right? It's right there. Right now you've gone quite a few times. How far is this balance on? You're right there. This is a 20-day balance. It's not a 30-day balance like hoodie, but it's a 20-day balance so far. Let's do it on the flip side. Here, resistance, support. Look, so I'll flip bull case, buyers. There's your stuck. This is your box that you're stuck in. So if you want to just chill, then you need to get out of this box. So either you wait till she breaks range, or if you're in, what dated calls were you in?
Those were January.
Oh, you've been burning a lot of premium? Those like slowly.
No. They've been actually doing pretty good with them. Well, over the last week or so, yeah.
2 days,
a little bit,
2 weeks.
But, before that, it's been not bad, honestly. I've been holding these since January of this year.
Yeah, you got about 10 days. So, okay, so August 22nd, 27th, you got 10 days, maybe. So this is a monthly. You got to close over 181. You got to close over 181 to save yourself.
Okay, we still have earnings coming up.
That's all I'm saying. You have 10 days before earnings. That's gonna be your saving grace, is one last pre-earnings push, but then it's a show me story. And otherwise, this is like gonna be a massive, possibly what this is showing. But at the same time, look, this would be the breakdown into 170s. And then otherwise your breakout's going to look like that into 191s. But yeah,
I gotta drop off.
I think we're pretty much done. That's most of the core stuff anyways. I think we're good. Otherwise I'm going to take a break. It's almost the end of lunch here. I want to check out some stuff in the server. But yeah, last one I will do is Tessie, because I do have this trade on. 335 is going to be crucial. I will do this. You know what? I think there's this concept of what's called a lifeline right now that is interesting. Do you have an update really quick before you go on the model that they are releasing or giving an update on releasing? Oh no, he's already gone. So I think they're going to update. Follow Evan. This is where we are. I don't know that we're going to break out here now. It is very much on edge. So if I just connect these two, we definitely did not break out. We haven't gotten there yet. If I just have this very small little balance zone, because I talked about this, I think it's important to go through it. As of right now, it's actually not good. It's not good enough. 340 is now like this balance zone here that it has to get through. It's back in range. 335, and I'll just throw these levels back on. God, I hate how it does that to me every time. 340 was 338, I believe, was last month's high. 338. So at this point, I really want to. 335 is no longer super crucial. I need to see it hold over 338 like this. And if I can really hold over 338, well, that's great. But it's still not going to be good enough for the move that I'm really looking to hold. I cannot see this go below 327. Below 327, this is just not happening. And that whole thing needs to go out the window. Ripcord, baby, pull it, right? If this gets up to, and there's this concept in trading called a lifeline. And what a lifeline is, it's like I'm in a boat. I'm thinking that my boat is Tesla, the Tesla boat. I'm thinking it's going to go up, and I've fallen off course, right? And I'm overboard now. I'm now overboard, meaning like my trade's not going in my direction. I've fallen overboard, and a lifeline in trading, it happens, is like, okay, so someone is throwing me a lifeline. I'm flopping in the water. A lifeline is when they throw you a life preserver. and what that looks like a little bit of a bounce up to that your stop loss, and my trade is very close to break even, but it's below break even, and I have this opportunity maybe to take a small loss before my support, which was my stop loss, becomes resistance, and the trade absolutely falls apart on me. This is possibly that moment. In my server, I actually sent this as here, and I closed all my short-term stuff on Tesla. Anything less than that, even January calls, not long enough for this. So at this point, that was my lifeline to me. And truth be told, I'm happy that I took that lifeline. I think this needs more time than that. If you're thinking about taking this as an actual trade for any considerable period of time, And I will drop that. It's an unlisted video here in the comments, just so you guys have it. Here, I dropped it there. Unlisted video. You guys can watch it. But it explains the concept of what a lifeline is. It's maybe not like super advanced, but it is important to understand that there are times that happens, and trading is trading. Like things don't always work out, and maybe this does work out, but also maybe it doesn't work out. And just be aware. Like volatility is extremely cheap on Tesla, and that's one of the reasons why I really like this trade. It is like sitting down at a blackjack table, knowing that right now I could legitimately get paid 10-1 if I hit blackjack. But if the price action is not going in my direction, it's like sitting down. Yeah, I'm at a table where I could get paid out 10-1, but I also have like a really cold dealer. Like the deck is really cold. It's not a hot deck right now. So there's that. Can it stay cold? That depends. Like how long do I want to sit at this table? Has it broken down? Actually, no, it really hasn't broken down completely. It's just not going up. So I think this needs time. And I think this needs to be patient with this. So this is not a short dated nothing. I don't think you want to be playing short dated here. So I think this one, you need to be patient with it, and see how it goes out, how it plays out. So anyways, that's it for now. And yeah, cool. It's a big week. It's a big week ahead, guys. We do have a lot of stuff. So I will see everybody out there. I'll hop on some streams. We'll hop on some X Spaces, and I will mostly see you guys out in the servers. So for now, where's my stuff? Appreciate everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe to the streams, like the show, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios. Peace.